Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson on CSS Flexbox crash course. So this was a custom request made right from the Facebook group, and I've actually been meaning to talk about it for a while because CSS Flexbox is actually my favorite layout model when it comes to working with HTML and CSS. So let's dive into it and let's see some of the things you need to know about Flexbox and how they work, and then I'm going to give you a list of all the properties, Flexbox properties that you need to know to get started with it. If you've been using Flexbox before, then great. So this will be like a summary of everything and reminders of things that you might have forgotten, and if you're just getting started with it, then also great, you are going to learn a lot of things. So let's continue. Then these are a bit of the things you need to know about the Flexbox model. It is a one-dimensional layout for laying out items in rows and columns. So it basically would allow you to have different rows and columns and then specify their behavior. So it was released in 2009. Prior to that, we make use of things such as floats, and there was a time when web design was ugly, and then made use of tables. But Flexbox and some layout model came in and then changed the game and allowed us to be able to customize things better. So it is very easy to use and also mobile friendly, and then it makes positioning and layout very easy. So I make use of CSS Flexbox a lot because it's just super easy to use. Okay, so then the visual representation of how the Flexbox is. So here is just basically how it works. We have the Flex container. So the Flex container contains it's like the parent for the Flex item. So that means basically if you and when you want to use Flexbox, you need a particular section, or okay, all of your web page to be adjusted using Flexbox. You have to first have a parent container, which is the Flex container, which is going to tell the Flex item that okay, I'm a and you guys here are the Flex items. Achieve and specify the so without any further ado, let us get see how exactly it works. Okay, so here is the document we're going to be making use of. Let me expand this a bit to make it easier on your eyes. And okay, I basically have a an HTML document with the class of a parent container with the class of flex container, and then the flex items. So we have basically three flex items here, and we want to see how the flexbox work. Now, to make things easier, right here in the documents, which I'll be putting the link in the description, so I've listed out all of the CSS flex properties, so and then categorize them so to make things easier for you. Sometimes I myself don't even remember all of these properties unless I need them exactly. So to make things easier, here are the properties we are going to be testing, and then the possible values you can use for them. So let's get started, and I'm going to have my flex container, and okay, the display is going to be flex. Okay, okay, we've saved that, nothing is happening. Think I have a pretty good idea. All right, so let's link our CSS file right here. Okay, now we can see automatically whenever you use the display flex or inline flex. This is what automatically all of the flex item, it's going to apply this hard. I think I have a pretty nice background color right there in my clip, and then this is going to be alright. And then padding, let's add a padding of, I don't know, let's say 20 pixels. Okay, and then the flex item, so we're going to have color, and then a background color of, alright, let's see how that works out. Okay, I'm going to add a padding to them also. I just love 20 pixels padding. And okay, while that is looking nice, let's add a bit of margin. Okay, 5 pixels. All right, and then the font size, oh sorry about that, I'm going to add 1.2 rem. All right, so we can see our flex behavior right here. So, and the best part is if you're making use of a Mozilla developer tools, especially, so I can kick up my um developer tools right here, and right here. Now whenever you select any element, now if it's using flex, you're going to see this option right here. Let me zoom that. Okay, so you're going to see this option right here. Now once you click on the flex option and then just over away, now you're going to see it's added this particular outline. It's going to show you, okay, right here in the layout. Let me maximize that. Okay, so right here in the layout, it's going to show you, okay, this is a flex and these are the flex items we have in it. Okay, it's going to show you some of the properties. So we can see it's currently set to row, then it is set to no wrap, the flex wrap, which we are still going to cover in full. But I just wanted to show you, okay, how this can be pretty much useful. And also, if it was CSS grid you're using, it's going to tell you if it is a grid um container. So if it's a grid container, some of the properties and, okay, the layout and the overview of it. So let's continue. All right, so I can just close this up. Now we've tried this first one, so I'm just going to give it, all right, it's a 3 star. Okay, we've sorted that out. Now let's look at the flex direction. So now you should note this particular set of properties, everything right here, can be applied to the flex container, that is the parent container. Okay, so let's actually check and test that out. Okay, so flex, and I'm going to put that to row. I'm going to add a header, so let's add an h2. So this is going to say 1 flex 1, then flex 2. Now this is just to show you about the ordering and how you can edit that, and then flex 3. Okay, I'm going to save that. All right, good. So we have this. Now flex direction row. Now this, you're not seeing any changes because by default this is actually the default for all flex container. They are automatically arranged in rows. Now one thing we can do is we can change it to column. Now you can see that it arranges it, it makes it column. Now another thing we can do is column reverse. Now this is going to reverse the order, so which is why I actually added these headings to show you, okay, was actually flex 1, then it makes it reverse. And then we also have that for rows, can make it row reversed. So instead of starting from 1 2 3, it starts from 3 2 1. So we'll talk about custom ordering later, so let me just comment this out. All right, and then the next one we have is flex wrap. So by default, for example, when we checked with our developer tools, we saw that it was set to no wrap. Now that's the default, so I think I've made it easy for you. Now if you look at these little comments I have here, the first property is the default property. So in case you are wondering, okay, what's the different property for the default property for the flexbox behavior? So that means you should know the flex direction, it is automatically set to row, and then the flex wrap is set to no wrap. So okay, let's continue, and then the rest you're going to understand as we proceed. Okay, then we have the flex wrap, and then I'm going to set it to wrap. Okay, now what that does is it actually tries to, okay, move things to the next line. Now let me give you an example. We didn't, for our flex item, let's set the width to, let's say, 30%. Oh sorry, width to 30%. Now we're going to see that once the remaining space does not take it up, it's going to automatically fall to the next line. So if we should make it 20%, for example, okay, we can see we still have an extra space right here. And then for example, let's say I take these, the last flex item, and then duplicate. So this instead is going to be a flex 4. Now we see it automatically moves to the next line. So if I should keep duplicating, so this is one of the reasons I love Flexbox. So we can see that it, okay, does this. Now to illustrate things further, I'm not going to delete this. So we are in Flex 4, so let's move to 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, so we have this, we have 7 flex items. Now okay, obviously it might not look great here because, okay, we are having some extra space here, but Flexbox already gives us a way to handle that. So which is, before I move to this, okay, let's quickly go to justify content. So I can come right here, justify content. Now by default, according to this comment I have here, now by default it is set to flex stats, and what that means is that it is aligned automatically to the beginning of the flex. So let's see if we set it to the opposite, which is the flex, okay, which is the flex end, and let's see what that. So we can have center between, have space between. Now space between is going to put a space between each of the flex item in the column. So for this column, it's going to make sure that there are lots of space. Divide the space so you don't have to think about, okay, what is going to happen to the rest of the space, etc. And then, okay, space between them. We can also have space around, so which is pretty sweet. Now the difference is, okay, it's going to um distribute, yeah, distribute and align the spaces so evenly within all of these um flex columns. So now, okay, let's say I remove these, okay, and I save. Now we see our Flexbox trying to adjust everything to a single column and then making it out of place. Now there is a short, or more like a shorthand rather, a shorthand for this, which is flex flow. And flex flow takes in your flex direction and your flex wrap. So I can basically say flex row, flex flow, and then I'm going to have row and then wrap. Okay, see, that works just fine as well. So that's that about flex wrap. Now there's a little bit about flex wrap. Okay, I think we haven't covered some properties. Now apart from no wrap and wrap, we also have wrap reverse. Okay, so let's try that out. Wrap reverse. Okay, so we see that it wraps that in reverse. So the wrapping is going to start from here and then move up, 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 and here. So it's kind of like a snake game or something. All right, so moving further, what's the next thing we're going to talk about? Okay, we have here the align item. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. All right, let me set this back to, okay, and then, so I think the flex rule is kind of a bit better since it's kind of a shorthand for both properties, flex direction and then flex wrap. Center. Okay, now that doesn't seem to work right now, because let me show you how the align items work. Now the align item basically work on the horizontal, the vertical alignment rather. So basically what um the other properties we've added, the justify content, is basically for the horizontal alignment and spacing and the space distribution. What the align item does is it works for the vertical. So let me give you an example for that. So right from our flex 4 downwards, I'm going to comment it out. Okay, so we only have a 3 flex. Okay, then I'm going to set the height for flex container to, let's say, 700 pixels. Okay, and then let's remove this at first. Now by default, the flex items will try to stretch all the way through, so I think that should also be indicated in our comments. So align items, okay, I'm going to correct that before I give you guys the link. Okay, so align items, by default we can see that, okay, it stretches all through. So let's put it to flex stats, so we can see it aligns to the beginning of the flex at the top, so leaving all of these these spaces. And then, okay, apart from the flex stats, we can have Okay, flex end, can see that, and then we can have baseline, I think. Okay, okay, so for the baseline, to illustrate that better, I'm going to take one of the flex items, which is okay, that flex item, and then the first child, and then I'm going to make it, let's say, height should be something like 600 pixels, and then copy that also. Then the third one should be, let's say, 400 pixels. Okay, we can see it's spanning here. Okay, what this basically does is it aligns based on the baseline. So, but due to um the properties of this, it's not being very visible. But not to worry, let's try out the other properties. Okay, we have stretch. What does that do? Okay, okay, then let's comment this out. Now the initial reason for that was because we added height already, so it couldn't stretch through. But once you understand it, it's not really that difficult to use. Okay, what other properties haven't we tried out? We've tried out flex start, flex end. Okay, we also have center. Okay, and right here it comes here into the center. Okay, then let's comment that out. Think I'm pretty much comfortable with how that is. Okay, so just to correct these, I'm going to bring these, which is the align items, right here, and going to add this. Okay, and then what else? I think we're pretty set. Now then we have the align content. Okay, let's see how that works exactly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this from here to this. I don't think I need the last one for now. Oh, sorry, I meant move this here to this. So the comment starts from here. And then we have Viola. We have this. Okay. Now let's specify the height to be greater than what we have before. So I'm going to set the height to, let's say, double what we had, so 1400. Now observe, we have to flex. Now each one of them actually stretches all the way. So what if, let's say, we wanted to add spaces between each of the rows? So this is what this property is going to help us with. So which is the align content. So I'm just going to copy that, and then let's come right here. Oh, sorry. Okay, by the look of things, you should have known that the default value is stretch. Yeah, I think that should indicate it. Yeah, stretch. Now let's add and copy this space between. Let's pretty much test out how it works. Now you're going to observe that it adds a whole lot of space, between each of the rows, and that's basically what that does. So if you want to adjust let me make a quick recap. So for your flex container, if you want to adjust the um individual rows. So that is the spacing between the row 1, row 2. You're going to use align content. So but for your let's say columns, then you have your justify content right here. Okay, space around. You should already know what that does. Okay, and this is the flex. And then what other value do we have? What other value do we have for align content? We have space between, space around. We have flex start, flex end, flex start. So everything is going to align to the beginning and then the end, beginning and the end. Ooh. So flex end, and then which I think, getting the feeling we haven't tried one, which should be center. Okay, so everything gets aligned where? To the center. Okay, so I think we're basic done with the flex container. So I'm going to actually comment this out, or leave it to the flex, leave it to flex start. So it's right here. Now there are some custom adjustment you can make to the flex items themselves. So that is, you can add all of these to adjust each one of them their custom alignments. So that's what we're actually going to look at next. Okay, so the first I'm going to show you is the order. Okay, so let's say I have a flex. Okay, so flex item, and let's say I'm going to choose just a random number. Okay, the fifth one, and then I'm going to set the order to 1. Okay, that didn't work. Let me see. Okay, so let's make it this way. I'm going to duplicate this. So since we have 6 items, 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, I'm going to say this 1 2 3 4 5, then 6. All right, now let the fun begins. Okay, so the first one, I want to throw it somewhere around, let's say, to 6. Now okay, these 4, then these 1, then these 3, and then these 2. Okay, we have 1 2 3. Okay, and these 2 5. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so that means you can custom a, well, that sounds correct anyway, so I'm gonna go with it. So that means you can customly um adjust your ordering. So you want this to be in a particular order. So you want this to be in a particular order. So automatically all flex item have access to these particular um properties. Okay, so I've done a bit of tidying up, reduce the flex containers to 4, and then we have these. So let's go quickly over the flex grow, the flex shrink, and the flex bases. Now let's say I have, okay, flex grow. Okay, I'm going to put it to, let's say, 6, then flex grow, and then let's say 1, then flex grow. and then 1. Okay, save that and see what happens. Now it's going to divide it in a ratio and makes um this particular flex, it's going to put it in a ratio, so ratio of 6 to 1 to 1 to 1. So this flex is going to obviously be bigger than the rest. So let's say this flex go 1. So we have this. So let's say for these, okay, I decide to make this, let's say 10. So obviously this ratio is greater than this and greater than 2 and 3, and we can see that okay, the flex 4 is bigger than flex 1, and then both of them are bigger than flex 2 and 3. So that's what you can do with that. And then we have flex shrink. So I'm just going to highlight these, so I like the 4 of them. So I'm going to put flex shrink. Okay, so then we're going to have for these 0, and then for these let's say 1 and 1 and 1. Okay, that doesn't really show much. Paste and then paste. Let's see what happens when we save and refresh. Now another thing makes it that okay, whenever this is um the spacing, the width of the flex item, and remember the box model, okay, plus the padding and the margin does not equal to the width of the containing element, that is the parent container, which is the flex container. So move on to the next line, spread yourself so you guys won't get jam packed. That's basically what the wrap is saying. So we're going to set it to no wrap. So we want to see how that works. So okay, the last one, I want it jam packed but not too jam packed. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna add you back. All right, so we have these flex shrink 0. Oh, this not spelled correctly. So now we are not saying that rightly, so let me try to use another trick so you can see that. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is okay, increase this to 300 pixels. Now one thing we can notice is okay, let's maximize that. Now while the rest of them are trying to shrink in to fill what we have here, this guy right here, yeah, this flex 1 still remains there, doesn't want to shrink. That's because of the property we've added and set to it. So let's continue. Okay, so that's that about flex shrink, and then we have flex bases. Oh, I love flex bases. Well, not so much. I prefer using width and you know percentages depending on the situation though. So we have flex bases. Flex bases. Okay, so let's set this to 400 pixels. Set this back to 100 pixels, and we're going to remove the extra baggage we added. Okay, I think that should be the last flex 4. All right, good. Now did you notice anything? This guy right here, the flex 1, which we added the flex basis of 100, initial width is 400 pixels. So basically what flex basis does and tells okay the flex container and your browser is okay, this guy, I don't, why the rest are starting for let's say width of 100 pixels. No, this guy is greedy, I want it to start at 400 pixels. So that's basically what flex basis does. So if I should increase this to 700, okay, as long as it can take in the spacing, it can take everything in, it's going to make sure that okay, this starts from 700 pixels. So if we should make it 200, okay, it's right from 200, and if we have 50, take that, it's going to try to start from 50. Okay, so for the flex items, yeah, we said it's a combination of flex grow, fresh. That for flex grow, if we want it to grow, okay, we just have to give it a value higher than the others. So let's say I want my flex grow to be this particular flex to grow, let's say 2 times the rest. All I have to put it is in 2, and then the rest I'm going to put it in 1. But okay, I don't want that. I just want this not to grow, not to shrink. It should remain at 400 pixels. So save, and then we have this viola. So 400 pixels, and then let's say 1, or let's say 5. So it's still going to try to put up that ratio, okay, 5 times the rest, and then starting from 400 pixels. So that's basically what that does. Now the last thing I'm going to, okay, actually second to the last thing, because I want to show you how you can put a flex inside of a flex. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is right here in my first, I don't know why I love the first child. Okay, I'm going to do this. We have the last property, which is align self. Okay, so let's say align self. Now I'm going to add flex and okay, no, let me add this center. Then we have align self, we have flex start, then align self, we have flex hand, then align self. I'm going to set this to center again, and let's see what that does. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to set it to stretch. Good. Now remember right here, I think, yeah, just right here we have align content, which set everything to flex start. So let's set this to flex end, and let's try to comment this out just for a bit. Oh, sorry, the align content is for, okay, flex start when we have multiple rows. So I think the property I was aiming for is this. Yeah, remember the align items, you can use align vertically. So but then the align self does this also, but for the individual flex item. So while removing these away, okay, let me uncomment this first. Let's see, does it override? Okay, yeah, it does. So okay, we've specified the default alignment right here. Yeah, so but we've also decided that, okay, apart from that, we want to add our own custom alignment. So let's say I remove for this particular guy here, okay, comment it out and then save. Now it will automatically set it to center, because the automatic behavior of the flex container is to align it to the middle. So if I should uncomment all of these, now they are going to be in the middle, but let's say I want a specific one to be at the beginning. So let's say these, and then comment these again. So flex 2 right here, which we chose, flex start. Align self is basically, okay, the vertical alignment but for the individual flex items. So that's just basically the properties we have. So let me just comment these all, comment these out. Okay, so okay, That didn't work as well as I thought it would. All right. Now, one other thing is you can have flex inside of a flex. No one really cares. So I'm going to reduce this to, like, say 700. All right. So we can have this flex. In case that I'll be using, I think I'm going to create a zone. So to things you can make your life, easier while building coding in different languages. Maybe you're doing the regular HTML, CSS, and maybe JavaScript, or let's say JavaScript frameworks, or let's say Python, etc. But that's that for another day. So let's try and sort this out. So right in my flex container, I'm going to have flex dot flex inner, and then I'm going to have dot flex inner items. Okay, and then right inside of my flex inner items, I'm going to have, okay, a paragraph, and then, okay, I don't really need that, so I'm just going to times 3, and then, okay, times 3, and then, okay, that didn't work as, okay, times 3, and then viola. All right, so right here I'm going to have 1, and then 2, and then 3. Okay, so I think we have it right here. All right, it doesn't look like much, but then let's get it to be much. All right, so I'm going to copy this background color here, and then dot flex container 2 dot flex. No, I wasn't aiming for you, guy. So go back to rest. Okay, dot flex container, and then we have 2, and then we're going to make it display flex. Boom. Okay, nothing much is going to actually, but then let's just add a bit of styling. Okay, background. Now I'm going to make these a bit darker to differentiate it from what we have before. So does that work? Oh yeah, it does. Then okay, right, I'm going to add padding of 20 pixels. Don't blame me, I just love 20 pixels padding. Okay, then right here we have our flex inner. So dot flex inner. So we're going to set it to padding of 20 pixels also, and then background color of, let's say, F5, F6, F7. Yeah, that should give us, yeah, just that. And then I think that's all. Let's see how that all works out. Okay, so we have this now. Obviously it's set to Flexbox, but it's not going to actually, remember, it's going to be by default true. Now, did you remember vertical and horizontal alignment? So let's say you want to set something to the center, perfect center, using Flexbox. We can have justify content center, and then we have align content, then we have center. So looking at that, you see right there in the center. Now show you that is actually right there in the center, both horizontal and vertically. I'm going to put in, okay, height of 300 pixels, and then let's see what that gives us. Is it really in the center? Who knows? Oh no, it actually isn't. That's because I made use of align content, which is for the arrangement between, different rows. So we are instead going to use align item. I think line items. Okay, I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. Oh yeah, I am. So then we said the width. So yeah, I love, you can use your flex basis, but then I love using width, and then I love when using width, I love making use of percentages. So I'm just going to set this. Okay, that works out well, and see, and then all right, I'm going to, okay, so since we only need the, okay, let me just put it 0 0, and then let's try 50% also, see if it works. Okay, works, same thing, same result. So but let's go back to my first love, which was width. Come on, Flexbox, I've been using width right before you came along. All right, so we have the flex inner. So now remember, this is a flex item, but we can also make it into a flex container. So we can say display. Oh, this is going to be so nice. Flex, and then let's see what happens. And then right here we have it. So I'm going to say my flex inner. Okay, I think flex inner items. Okay, yeah, that works well. Flex inner items. All right, my people, let's see what that does. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a weight of 20. No, I'm going to put it to 30%, and I'm going to put margin of 20 pixels, margin of 10 pixels. Okay, and then what else? I think there was something I wanted to add, which was background color. So we're going to make use of these. Was it the same one we had here? Yeah, exactly what I was aiming for. And then the color, I'm going to just put regular white, and then padding again 20 pixels. So let's see what that gives us. Oh, right there. So I can set the text align to center, font size. Okay, let's set it to, I don't know, 1.3 rem, and then font weight. You don't need to add this, but I just want it to look a bit more beautiful, and then text align center. All right, so right there we have a flex inside of a flex, and we can also make this a flex, so you can have your layout the way, customized right the way you want it, right the way you visualized it. So that's that on Flexbox. So you can see it's pretty much interesting, very interesting. And just a quick note, now we can see some bit of white spaces right here. So to remove that, very simple actually. I can, okay, one of the best ways you can do that is just come here to select everything, and then margin, set the margin to 0, and then the padding to 0, the initial padding of your browser added. So I would like you to check out my previous videos on using the developer tools. I mentioned some of the user agent styles or your browser default styles. So UALs, UA style shield, whatever it is called. But just know that there are some basic styling your browser applies. So this is just to remove it, and then box sizing, border box, and then you see you have it right here. So then you have to add padding to this to make it look know, it's more beautiful. So I'm going to add padding. So let's say, no, not this. Okay, we have padding. So anyway, I'm not going to bother myself with that. So another thing is, yeah, before I go, let's actually make sure our Flex is mobile responsive. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add a bit of media query. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's add a bit of media query. So, and at media, so screen, and then we're going to put max. We're going to start it from 768 pixels. What's gonna happen? So what we're going to have, what we're going to have is we're going to first say dot flex container. We want you to be column. Oh, sorry. Flex direction. Let's just use flex flow, which is going to be column and then wrap. Well, since we have column, we don't really need to wrap, do we? Okay, let's just bring this down here. Let's see. So I think I'm going to change this to, and we're going to have, okay, remember we added a bit of, don't it's up to GitHub. uh, I'm giving you the link. So we have flex items right here. So we're going to specify the width, which is going to be 100%. Then Viola. Now things are looking good. Things are looking good. Then we're going to specify for the flex container to, okay. I think actually I was aiming for flex inner. Flex inner. Then I'm going to set it to flex direction and then column. So let's see. All right, we have that. So sorry it looks ugly, I know myself, but this is just a demonstration to show you, okay, you can make your flexbox responsive. So right here, and then we have it. So building layouts, different layouts right here. So that's just basically all for flexbox. Now if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. So right here, so we just have 42 subscribers at the moment, since the channel is very new. So don't forget to subscribe so you and turn on notification for more awesome videos that are coming up. And then don't also forget to check out our social media, Life Tech Facts, the page on Facebook, the group on Facebook, and then the Instagram account. So we have tons of a community to help you out with tons of discussion and a lot of things you're going to learn daily. I can promise you that. So I'm going to drop the links in the description, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much.